Yo, 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 what's going on out there? Y'all already know who it is. It's your boys, the Rise Podcast, with your boy, Coach Squeeze, aka the Smoothie King. Right back at y'all with another one. Chopped cheese is in the building. How y'all doing, man? Hope everybody had a blessed and safe week. Um, Everybody grinding, man, trying to pay their bills, make ends meet, man, and economy crazy, man. You know, life gonna keep life, and you just gotta move with the times. You gonna get moved out the way. All right, y'all. On that note, let me get the sponsors out of the way so we can jump right in. 5-time world champ, 4 different weight classes. First ballot Hall of Famer, Baltimore's own GTD Promotions. Redesigning minds one mind at a time. We know a mind is a terrible thing to waste. As you can see out here, everybody crashing out, man. These kids out here, not only the kids, the younger generation, but people in general, from driving to just normal tasks, going in the store. The devil been so busy, everybody doing what they want to do and not doing what the right thing to do. If you don't even, some people don't believe in God, but even if you don't believe in God, you gotta believe it's a right and it's a wrong. That's just the bottom line. Shout out to www.kenichibed.com. Use the code TRP, you'll get 15% off. Also, shout out to www.nonslipgallery.org. Go over to the Damari page. Use the code RIZE10 and you'll get 10% off. Also, shout out to www.meandkillerbeat.com. Go over to her page, check her out and her merch, and her boxing return. She's healing very good. Shout out to Richie for the intros. And R.I.P. to John Boy, R.I.P. to Mr. Evangelist Williams Jr. I still can feel that empty void with two of our biggest supporters in Rise Podcast history and existence. May they rest in peace. They are truly missed in many ways. Shout out the Bad Girls Promotion featuring Miss Nikki, aka Miss Olivia Pope. Shout out the EOE Education Over Everything, my brother movement. Shout out to Just Do Boxing, Hardcore Boxing News, Ant McQueen Boxing. Don't forget to come down to 1901 Pennsylvania Avenue, get your shirts, essentials. 12 rolls for $7. Coach Calvin and Kenny Way. Shout out to them guys. They never rest. I don't know how they do it, but much love go out to them guys and respect. Shout out the AO Clothing Line, Pro Soul Boxing Gear Inc. Clothing line. Don't forget to go over to the risepodcast.com. Get your merch. Use the code RIZE10. You'll get 10% off. And shout out to Miss Mona, Miss Melanie Queen, Miss Yaya. Hope she doing fine. Another one of our biggest supporters in Rise Podcast history, along with Miss Mona and Sher Whitley. I could name countless of names just to give you a few. And don't want to leave nobody out. Shout out to Four Corners Boxing, always showing us love, our New York affiliate station, every Wednesday night. And the Boxing Source, a.k.a. Riddick Bowe. Last but not least, the official gear of boxing, all the fighters wearing it. Y'all can say it with me in the chat on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Box raw. Yeah, man, like I was saying, man, like And we gonna jump right in the show. Mike and Nike was going on 9245. Boy, I need to play that in the horse race. That's a pretty good one, that 924. That 92 always come out. Need to drop that. But people crashing out, man. People killing their own kids. You know, Black Lives Matter. But all I see is the culture just taking each other out. So I'm confused on what matters, you know. And I'm going to leave it at that because you can't speak too much on that because I wind up in the body bag. It's like when you try to speak up for your own people, they ain't liking that. I'm like so confused. Every time you turn the news on, crashing out on each other, man, it's just diabolical. But life, man, is just, you got to keep on pushing. That's just what it is, man. You got to bite your tongue, be humble to make it and survive. Because the devil going to be busy, man. He going to be busy. On that note, y'all, let's jump right on in. Can Errol Spence defy the odds? I need y'all thoughts. Come on in. Share the recipes that y'all have. And who wins between Ryan, Garcia, or Connor Benn? I ain't gonna lie, you know, to be continued with me with the Errol Spence joint. To be continued. We only gonna know is when he get in the ring. Everybody thought I was hating on Errol when Derek James was on the show, and I had the whole panel against me, you know. And y'all already know who came out on top. When I told him, your fighter is a North and South fighter. There's no special effects with Errol. And Errol gets hit a lot, you know. And it came to a head in the Terrence Crawford fight, you know. But it ain't diminished what he's done. That's why I say you can argue so much with these fighters, man. You know, everybody Errol basically fought in the early part of his career, he was bigger than. You know, he was bigger than. And Sean Porter gave him a run for his money. A lot of people say, which I don't think one flash knockdown should cause the call of the fight when Sean was in his ass the whole time up to that knockdown. But no, I'm a catch a lot of flack, but hey, that's what I seen. That's my opinion, and it's without no animosity, because a lot of people get on here, they want to argue, cuss, call people out their name. That's just my opinion, you know. Growing up, seeing a lot of different fighters, and you're not gonna know every fighter. That's impossible. But you could go and do research on them. You could do research. But yeah, man. Didn't work with Bud, somebody just as big, as strong, and very athletic. We seen that caused a problem with him, but it's so many buts. You never know what's really going on behind the scenes. and people will come out and say so many different things. If you're going to come out, just be honest and just say you wasn't doing the right thing. You wasn't listening. I think people will respect you more than you coming out, but you saying one thing, but then you pointing at other people's along the way. It's just like us being as parents with kids. We could tell them, teach them, do everything we can. They got to take those teachings and abide by them. As soon as they slip up, the door is open for endless possibilities of destruction. So I hope and pray that he look decent, man, and don't get hurt or injured. But let me go and holler at everybody. Stretched Out Boxing, Tabu Apakabutu, Miss Mona, the Queen, Chopped Cheese in the building. Send my love to the missus and the daughter. May y'all be safe and have a blessed weekend. David Lynch, what it do? Rest in power, Jah. Bless. Rest in peace, champ. Melody Queen 27. Where my girl lounge wear? I don't see it. Melody Queen. Mr. Henson 420. Food Truck 319. Uh, 410 Casual. Salute, peace, and blessings. Mr. Henson 420. And I think Errol Spence could pull off the win and retire with a win. Also, I got Ryan Garcia whipping Conor Benn by TKO, a shutout. David Lynch, I got Spence. I just let me see. Okay, there it goes. It's all the way down here. David Lynch say he got Spence. Miss Melody Queen, look out for the best loungewear pajamas. Be sure to visit hangoutwear.com. Best lounge style. Use the code MELANIN for 10% off. 410 Casual. It depends on how Spence wins the fight. If he just go 12 rounds and get a decision, how high are the expectations for him to do much more in the sport? I don't know. Very well said, young man. Very well said. And that's the only way you really can. We don't know until next week. You know, it's just a lot, man. When you was used to dominating everybody, steamrolling basically all of your opponents, and I'm sure he ain't just start doing the wrong thing overnight. Mike Ryan, what it do? Thanks for coming over to y'all, chopping it up with the Rise Podcast. I appreciate you guys. Can't wait till I get one of them YouTube plaques in the studio room and keep growing the podcast. So keep me in y'all prayers. Maybe God bless me when he blessed me on this journey, podcasting journey, that it flourish so I'll be able to help the ones out that I love and leave a impression and a good legacy. But you can't skate but so long when you go up in talent. And I don't know what possessed Errol to think he would have been able to pull that off against Bud, going in there under all of that he went in there under. But he said he wasn't trying to let people down that was dependent on him. And I get it too. So it was a lot of pressure on him. And I got to take my hat out to him, take my hat off to him for knowing he wasn't right and truly putting his life on the line to go in there and take care of his family. And that was all that he had, but because he wasn't right, man. The dude wasn't right, but it took a lot of heart to go in there. And don't even look like Errol. I didn't see the full interview. I watched bits and pieces, but sometimes when Errol talked, I could barely understand him. He talks in like choppy sentences. But yeah. But man, that was a hard way to go out. I think that a lot of people they was going with Errol. You know, they was going with Errol. A lot of people were let down. But I don't know whether they more disappointed or let down, or both of them basically the same things, being disappointed and let down. But I think more so disappointed by the performance. I was with Bud. I was riding with Bud, but I'm just gonna try to go out on a limb and say that if he would have came in 100% camp when he was on a rise, I think that fight should have happened a couple years earlier, maybe before the accident. We could have really got a true gauge on. But let me bring him on in, y'all. Y'all already know who he is. First ballot Hall of Famer, Lee Jackson. What it do? He gonna get y'all input on his view, his take, and how he feel about what's going on. And that's true journalism, whether you agree with it or not. I think true journalism is stating what you see, what you think, comparing notes and all of that stuff. And it's good for the sake of the sport. That's why I like chopping it up, because, man, Mr. Will, we don't agree on everything, but you got to agree to disagree sometimes and state your fact and pull different variables out. But on that note, y'all know him as Mr. Will, but y'all already know what I call him, Papa Smurf in the building. Mr. Will, a living legend.
What's happening, Squeeze? How you feel? How you feeling, Squeeze? You got a delay.
Yeah, look, this is these computers. They even
Yeah,
when I come in,
yeah.
it rolls and buffer. It'll go live before I even see myself up.
Wow.
They might see me up,
Yeah,
but on my end, the live is ticking, and I'm not even up on the screen yet. I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi. Everybody, the phones, everything acting crazy.
yeah. It could be the
Yeah,
Wi-Fi.
I think they control they controlling a lot.
Yeah,
You got the controls at your fingertips. You can
mm,
move this stuff because it's all man made and technology.
that's true.
You know what I mean? So
It's true.
Melody Queen say salute Mr. Will and David Lynch.
All right, how
Said
y'all?
salute.
Right, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know how much you heard so far, but I was at the point I was at. I was
Mm,
discussing Errol put a lot on the line when he stepped in the ring and all of that was going on. He actually walked in 5, but he said he didn't want to cancel the fight. A lot of people depending on him, and he went in there at 25% in front of a animal. He could have gotten away with that in front of a Danny Garcia, a Mikey Garcia, Udonis Ugas, but you weren't getting away with that in front of a Bud Crawford. But I gave him his flowers as far as standing up in his mess and going out there. Could have been foolish, but we do stuff sometimes, man. All of us do that we think we could, if something happened for us, we could pull it off, and it don't work out like that. So I'm not beating them up. I'm just saying that was the wrong time to do that. I say that we were deprived of the fight that everybody thought we were gonna see. The Bone Collector.
mm-hmm.
Um, I say this fight should have happened prior to his car accident. Then we would have really been able to see who was the king in the sport. I think we were deprived. How you feel about all of that I just ran down, and your take? How you feel about that?
Well, of course I gotta agree, but the catch is I had Crawford beating him years before they even fought. I always looked at that potential matchup, and I always had Crawford beating him.
Before the accident?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm years before that. I always felt like Crawford was the better guy between the two. He was more versatile to me.
Yeah.
And then like I said to people close to me when we talked about that fight before it came up, I was telling everybody the same thing. I said once Crawford backs him up, the fight's over. And Crawford came out there and backed him up in the first round. I just sat back in my chair and got comfortable with it. I knew what it was after that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you basically, man, you totally agreeing on this one. We
Mm,
totally in agreement
yep.
on this one. I always said when Errol was in the Olympics,
Mm-hmm.
coming out of the Olympics,
Mm-hmm.
um, it was just something about him. I say he's gonna he's going to have success in the sport if they move him like they supposed to move him, and they did.
Yeah.
He had much success on how they was moving him, but I was saying he had a lot of deficiencies that the right person, and this is from the Olympics on to the pros I was watching. Solid B fighter to me. Solid B fighter. But when he gets in front of somebody that can take his power and counteract it and show him different looks, and he was going to be a fish out of water. And it came to a head. That was my take on him. Because if you look at his resume and the fighters he fought early in his career, we argue that all the time, but a lot of it got truth to it. When you blowing people out of the water that's really not on your level, bunch of journeymen, and then as it get thicker with former champions and competitive fights, it's a fight. Every fight ain't gonna be easy. I get that, but I need to see is who they really say you is in those fights.
We got a peek into that window. We were out on his front lawn, and we got to peek in his window. The fight before that, when he fought Ugas, that was a little bit of the handwriting on the wall with that fight. And what I mean by that, Ugas hit him with a shot late in that fight. I want to say somewhere maybe around the 9th round, and Errol got hurt. Errol looked like he wanted to climb out of the ring for a second. He just looked like he was done. He kind of turned his back, walked away. He was like, I'm done. And then it looked like he caught himself and said, well, I can't do that. And he started fighting back. But Ugas isn't even a big puncher, and he hurt him. I mean, Errol didn't even he looked like he didn't even know where he was at that moment. So I said, uh-oh. So that kind of told on him too. You remember that part of the fight, what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And like I said, Ugas is not a big puncher. So like I said, that kind of told on him, man.
Yeah, he looked like he was lost. Didn't something get knocked out of his mouth or something?
Yeah, he was hurt. He was getting ready to go down.
He was dazed.
Yeah, he was gone. He was gone for that moment. He
was smiling and everything.
Yeah, he had left the building for the moment. Right.
Oh, Aunt McQueen say Earl was searching for his teeth.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew it was something.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, the boy knocked him out. He knocked him out of his senses for that moment. He didn't know where he was at.
He was fighting with partials in his mouth. 410 casuals say, I thought Ugas should have stopped Earl, but his mouthpiece came out and she caught a break. I remember that, Mr. Will. I forgot about it, but you saying it, bringing back.
Yeah, that was the visual. That I said, if Terrence hurts him like that, he's done. That's that fight, But like I said, the main factor was for me was backing Earl up, and Crawford did that in the first round. Once he did that easily in the first round, I knew then the fight was over. Because this what I'm getting at. Earl fights that Texas style. All of them fight the same to me.
Yeah.
style. It's a come forward, try to bully you, type of style. He was Donald Curry 2.0. He was down,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He fought a lot like Donald Curry to me. Real straight up and right in front of
that's
you.
what I that's what I said. Make document of this. Me and Mr. Will agreed with two things in a row, back to back, with no space in between.
Oh man.
That's my boy, Mr. Will, boy. Yeah, I totally agree, because when his coach was on here
Mm-hmm.
and Calvin and all them, go ahead, squeeze, tell him what you told us. Because I didn't know his coach was going, don't be choked up now. They was
Yeah.
talking shit. And
Yeah.
I say, like I said, your fighter is a North and South fighter.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And of course, he had to defend his fighter
Yeah. Of
and
course.
say what style, other style he need to fight. He gonna fight. He's supposed to say that.
Exactly. But you know
He's
what?
supposed, because he getting a paycheck. But
Yeah.
me and you
Exactly.
know, Earl ain't no Shaolin monk.
No.
Earl ain't no goddamn Shaolin monk.
By no
How
means.
he gonna fight every style that anybody, whatever style he need? That mofo got one style, and that's North and South, downhill.
Look, and to add on to that point, okay, he had the guy. What was his name? What was his last trainer name? James.
Derek James.
James. All right. Now he's got Ronnie Shields, another Texas trainer. So he teaches that same style, that Texas style.
Yeah.
So nothing's going to change with Earl. As far as having a different trainer, it's going to be the
You
same.
know what?
It's going to
I'm
be
kind of pissed off.
saying real quick. It's going to be the same soup warmed over. That's all it's going to be, man.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing going to change.
Mm-mm.
I was going to say while you were saying that,
Mm-hmm.
just to piggyback and say, it ain't the trainer, it's him.
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
ain't
He's
the
been fighting.
trainer. You shouldn't have got rid of Derek James.
Nope. Nope.
Mended what you needed to mend, and go back to your day one, and y'all reevaluate. I hate that shit when they
I
change
know.
trainer. You got all that success with that man,
Yeah.
and one downfall,
Yep.
you hit the ceiling. And I'm not in there training cat, whatever, but I can tell you one thing. I met Derek James, and I can tell you, Derek James told him what he needed to do.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear in the back and forth, because
I've
he's
seen.
saying. But now you got two men. You got two men, one saying one thing, one saying another. Who do you believe? You wasn't in the room when it happened.
I've seen that so many times, man, where a fighter will lose a fight and then fire their trainer. You know, it's never their fault. It's nothing on there. It's always the trainer. They got to blame somebody. And usually it's the closest person to them, the trainer. So, like you said, it doesn't make sense to, change dance partners in the middle of the dance. It really doesn't.
You 30 fights in, and
Exactly.
you just like Deontay Wilder
Well,
when he
you know
got.
what? Let me get my stick a pin in that one real fast. Deontay Wilder, I don't care who you get to train him. You can get Zeus from Mount Olympus to come down here and train him. And what it is, Deontay Wilder is untrainable. You can't teach him anything. He's had good people in his corner. He had Mark Breland. I remember one time he had Tim Witherspoon and Mark Breland in his corner. And what's his name? Wilder is still going to go out there and do what Wilder is going to do. Fight like Wilder, windmilling and everything else. You can't, he's unteachable. I've never seen him sparring anybody. He's always hitting the phone things with what's the guy's name? Jonathan. It's not Jonathan.
Yeah, the former boxer.
Malik Scott. Yeah, the phone.
Yeah, Malik Scott.
Yeah, he's always hitting the phone things with Malik.
Rest in peace to Mark Brillin, right? Didn't he just pass?
No, now as I know of.
I thought somebody say Mark.
No, Kenny was saying he was in a nursing home, but I saw him on recently. He
looked
fine.
Good.
He looked fine. He was, throwing punches. He was in a pool throwing punches and stuff.
Good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man. But yeah, like I said, well, Wilder. I knew Wilder wasn't going to last long.
Well, Mr. Will, he did have a tenure. He did have a run, 5-year run.
Okay, this is the thing. Again, this is where you get mad at me. We got to look at the condition of the heavyweight division.
Never get mad at you, Mr. Will.
All right, what I'm saying is you got to look at the condition of the heavyweight division today, man.
Look,
probably the worst division.
I'm never get mad at you over boxing. That's just diabolical.
No,
but you got a right to your opinion on, and a lot of it we mix opinion with facts. There's some facts behind it. It ain't always a goddamn opinion. There's some facts behind it.
Exactly.
But I'm speaking on the run itself. Whether it was top dugs along the way or not. For a guy that started out late and ain't coachable, to be able to pull off that was amazing in itself.
What got him over was his height, and he had that eraser.
That's what I'm saying.
He did have that eraser. Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
But
he ate off of
boxer. He did not have the overall skills.
No.
None.
Because of his inability to be coached.
Exactly. So we start out where we start and end up at the same place.
Now, what's your take on Errol?
Well, like I already said what I said about Errol. Errol fights that Texas style, and he's a quintessential Texas fighter. They're right in front of you, and they're trying to be the bully, trying to be they're trying to run through you kind of guy. And I've never seen Errol really use any lateral movement. He doesn't do any leg boxing at all. So,
he just, like you say, he just try to overwhelm and break his opponents down.
Yeah.
Physically.
That's it.
Mentally and physically.
That's it.
But my question was, what are you expecting from him next week, if you're expecting anything at all? I just need to hear from your mind. What's going through Mr. Will's mind?
What's going through my mind is this. I think Errol's going to come in there. He's got a point to prove. So he's going to do the best he can for as long as he can. What I'm getting at is I'm hoping he does well because he's good for the sport. I like Errol. But what I'm getting at is this. A 3-year layoff and all the conditions that were working against him before he actually took the layoff doesn't add up to a good result to me. The bad accident, the heavy boozing, the beatdown he took his last fight out. And then for a fact, Tim Tszyu will war with you. And Tim Tszyu, I think, has a respectable punch. So if he hurts Errol at any point, let's say like Ugas did, if he buzzes Errol, I don't think it's going to be a good result, man, for Errol. Because, Tim Tszyu's got a point to prove right now, too, because he took some bad ones recently, too, kind of back-to-back against Fundora and that Russian guy he fought the last time out. So
Yeah.
so I'm just saying he's got a chip on his shoulder too. So it's an interesting matchup for both of them.
But as a boxing fan, let me ask you this, Mr. Will. As a boxing fan, um, does this intrigue you in any manner on getting this up and coming fight?
We'll put it like this: I'll be tuned in, but if I was close to Earl and an advisor to him or something like that, somebody really close and a friend or somebody in his training camp, family member, I would have talked to him before he actually put it out there in the media. I'm coming back because he needed to really do some agonizing reappraisal, man, with the whole comeback idea. Like I always talk to you about that. I think
Yeah.
some guys hang around too long and do residual damage to themselves hanging around too long. Like Singer was talking about the last time out with James Tony, he said he did a great interview, just nobody knew what he was talking about. And
Yeah.
that's real talk, man. That I don't like to see that from these guys. Especially
Well,
remembering.
Mr. Will, well, Mr. Will, I think that the agenda that's being pushed kind of confused guys because we as boxing fans, when I say we, not the whole community,
Mm-hmm,
but the ones that like that back and forth grueling type of boxing
mm-hmm,
match, I would say those guys tend to be more messed up in the head than a lot of the other guys. That I could say at a 95 or 97 point uh percent ratio, the bangers with less defense be
mm-hmm.
the ones more so. And they say Tony had great defense later in his career when he had to, when he got
So
bigger.
he always had defense his whole
Yeah.
career, but what it was, he came from what junior middleweight, all the way up to heavyweight. And what I'm getting at, these were bigger guys punching down on him later on in his career, and this was late in his career. So that didn't do him any good, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Miss. No, sir. Go ahead. No, I don't want to
I
be
was going
rude.
to say he was getting hit by 240, 250, possibly 260 guys on a regular basis in training camp and in the fight. And he really wasn't built like that. What I'm saying, size wise, he's not a true heavyweight. He ate himself into being a heavyweight. He wasn't a natural heavyweight. So that definitely had an effect as far as
Let
punch.
me. Number one, when I mention defensive fighters in
Mm-hmm.
the past, James Tony name never comes up
Oh, he
in
was.
my mind. Let me finish.
He
I
was.
said my mind.
Yeah, yeah. He was. I watched him. He
But
was.
what do come to mind is a Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker, uh, 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 Floyd Mayweather, uh, 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 um, uh, what's uh, uh, what's the other guy who defense? These guys, I said Pernell,
Okay. Camacho, Hector Camacho.
Hector
But
Camacho. These guys was very elusive. They could
yeah.
slip a punch. You know, to me, that's defense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and to me, that's just to me. Who else? Um, there's a couple more that's standing out in my head that uh um I wouldn't say a full outblown, but Andre Ward was another one that had
Excellent.
decent uh
Excellent.
uh uh defense had
Yeah.
because these guys they're able. Andre Ward said, "Hey man, I didn't want to leave the sport not being able to have a conversation with my kids
That's right.
and my family.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, he said I'd have had big money offered on the table for me to come out of retirement. And he said my health was more important than I didn't did my work in the sport. You know, it was nothing else left there for me. And taking that risk of being damaged. And Muhammad Ali, may he rest in peace, continue to rest in peace. Took a lot of beating, man.
Yes.
Took a lot, and we see
He
the
did.
result. He was a shell of
Yeah.
himself. You
Yep.
know,
Then he
Ali
went too long.
wouldn't. When you mentioned the best defensive fighters in the world,
He doesn't.
Ali name ain't coming up.
No, not for me either.
Ali name ain't coming up, and that's not no stab or
No.
trying to downgrade him.
No.
You know, that wasn't his fighting style.
No.
His offense was his defense.
Yeah, that's it. And then you know what got Ali over with that stuff like we're talking about right now, as far as him getting hit a lot. Ali's toughness is what made him who he was, but he doesn't get credit for that. Ali was a tough guy. He was a real tough human being, man.
Yeah. But Emmanuel,
and his defense real fast. I'm gonna make this real short. Tony was a defensive wizard. I gotta give him that. I look at stuff like you said with a different lens, man. I saw what he was doing. James Toney was slick, man. This one fighter was emulated his style and was pretty successful with it for a while, but they kept robbing him, and it looked like he lost interest. This little Mexican guy named Mauricio Herrera.
I remember him.
I used to always tell my son, I said, this boy here is a Mexican James Toney. That boy was slick. I'm telling you, man, he was right in front of you, but nobody could really hit him. I remember he went down to Puerto Rico and fought Danny Garcia, and they robbed him. I don't think Danny Garcia won 2 rounds in that fight, but they gave the fight to Garcia because they knew they couldn't sell
Mauricio.
Yeah, because he didn't have a punch. And they knew he couldn't put no butts in seats. He was like, he punched like Malignaggi. He didn't have a punch at all. So them kind of guys, you know, they weren't going to win decisions on a big fight because the whole deal is to try to sell the next big fight. And with them kind of guys, they knew nobody was going to pay to see them. So they
boxing dad say, who's the slick and defensive fighter today?
I haven't really seen anybody standing out like that lately. You know, I haven't seen the next big thing yet. They don't come along that often. You know, that's the real deal. They're not in every new batch of fighters. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to put my thinking caps on, and who would I say is Shakur Stevenson.
Okay.
Shakur Stevenson. Boxing Dad asks you a question. Shakur Stevenson to me is one of the best defensive fighters of today. The philosophy of hit and don't be hit. And to me, hands down, Shakur.
Well, like I said, again, I haven't seen him in there in a real, what I would say, marquee fight where, like, all of them have to have their proper dance partner to make them who they are. And I haven't seen him in there with anybody yet where I would say, oh, yeah, because one day he could sway me. He could change my mind. And I might be right where you at and say, well, yeah, I see what you're talking about, Shakur. He fought so-and-so. He looked great. I just haven't seen him in there with that guy yet to really impress me on that.
Zepeda threw 1,000 missiles at him.
That's Zepeda. When I think about boxing, Zepeda doesn't even come to mind. saying
I'm
when you think
talking
about
about
top
I'm
shelf.
talking about defense
Yeah, I get all that.
in its totality. I'm not talking about the level of person
Well,
who
that
was
makes a difference.
throwing at him. I'm talking
Look
about
at that.
what was
Now,
coming at him, how he
yeah,
defend and combat punches.
yeah,
I
no,
didn't
look at the
say
quality.
it had to be a Tech 9 coming at, him. I'm more so talking about whoever he fights, he's defensive minded with. It would be, for me, Shakur right now. Shakur Stevens.
Okay.
We ain't even touching on this,
Mhm.
but Ryan Garcia or Connor Benn. Who you got? Who you like?
Oh my goodness, that's an interesting matchup there. That's interesting. Now, as far as I think overall mechanics, I think Garcia is the better fighter between the two. Like I told you, I'm not big on the British fighters. They look good on each other, but you put him on the world circuit, like he's coming over. I guess he'll be coming over here to fight that fight, and traditionally they don't do well when you bring them out of England.
Yeah. Okay. Even the lottery website is acting up. The numbers ain't even post.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Boxing Dad say, so who does come to mind for you, and what fighter checks all of the boxes for you?
I don't
I
know. Right?
said I said Shakur or Boxing Dad, unless you asking me something else. Witty NF8TK say Tank is a slick fighter. Mag 7 Life 269. Shakur still has not fought a top guy yet. Um
I agree.
David Lynch 589. Evander Holyfield was good with the Philly show. George Benton version.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true. But see, on top of that,
Oh, he say, Mr. Will, he asking you.
well,
This
Holyfield.
Damari's father, Damari Filson at the gym, father, the pro fighter,
Okay.
his dad. He
Who,
say, so who does come to mind for you, and what fighter checks all the boxes? What fighter do you like?
okay. Right now, I don't really have a guy out there right now. Other than if he comes back and gets active, I would say Tank. I like Tank a lot. But other than that, I mean, I just watch who's out there. I don't see anybody that's really like wowing me right now. I don't see anybody that's doing that. Like, put it like this: the last few times I've been really excited about a guy when I first saw him was a guy like Shane Mosley. I was big on Shane when I first saw him. I was big on Paul Williams when I first saw him. I was big on Terrence Crawford when I first saw his very first fight. I saw him fight, and that was against Bradis Prescott. That was the first time I saw him fight that night, and I said, "This guy." And all of these guys, I said when I first saw him, I said that guy's going to be a champion, and each of those guys turned out to be champions that I just named. But that's the last time I was really like, "Oh, we got something here." That doesn't happen that often. That's not going to happen like, you know how you go through high school and you got a graduating class every year? You're not going to get that in every graduating class every year, where you get them standouts. And yeah, that's just how it is. Like we had touched on Holyfield for a hot second. Holyfield, this is something I say to people too that you might not agree with, but if Holyfield didn't hang around as long as he did and disgrace himself, he should have retired after Mike bit his ear that night. That should have been his last fight, far as I'm concerned. But he fought about another 10, 15 years after that, and was looking really ridiculous out there. And if he would have quit after Mike bit his ear, he could have possibly went down arguably as the greatest to me.
Let me see. Pause time say Boo Boo Andre is the greatest southpaw all time. You agree with that?
No, but he's colorful. You know, he's flashy. You know, he does all the little.
But that, hey, Mr. Will, you answered them. Thanks, pause time.
Yeah, no,
You
I don't agree with
everybody got their own who they like. That that's who he like.
Yeah, I know.
You say no, and I'm saying no. We moving on.
Yeah.
We have a whole crew of fighters out here, especially at Upton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He might be he say A-OK. All right, boxing. That might have been a little typo, but yeah. I would say I like Shakur. I like Shakur. I like Abdullah Mason. I like Keyshawn. It's a couple of other dudes I can't name off top, but let me see who else. Of course, my boy Bud ain't fighting no more. And my Upton boxers fighters on the up and coming, Old Doug, Demai, Titus, Smash, great professional, Too Sharp, who else? Blast 48, the twin. It's a lot of guys, man, and it ain't enough time in the day for me. We could be on the podcast for 7 days straight, marathon, talking about this sport, but unfortunately, we gotta pay bills.
Oh yeah.
And Boxing Dad say those fighters you mentioned, all from 30 years ago.
Exactly.
What about the boxers are fighting now?
Now, I don't have anybody right now. I had already said that.
Yeah. He say he don't got nobody now, Boxing Dad. Pause time is most likely going to be Andre versus Jamal after their tune-ups next weekend. That would be a good fight I'd like to see. Because both of them been inactive. But on the Ryan Garcia circus show and Connor Benn, two clowns. The circus is back in town. I hope the kids' admission ain't as high. Maybe you could pay the parents buy a ticket and the kids get in free. That's what I think about that fight.
Yeah.
A clown show.
Yeah.
That's my take. But if I had to pick which clown gonna have more colors on their face and look more funnier in that clown suit to win the contest, it would be, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know. I ain't counting Cisco out. Connor Benn. Yeah.
I knew you were talking about when you said Cisco.
Yeah. I ain't counting out. I call him Crisco.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really, to me, That's a 50-50 fight to me. I'm being honest. It's a 50-50 fight. Oh, and Boots. Damn, my fault. David Lynch. I'm getting old, man. Boots, definitely. David Lynch say, I like Boots, Mason, Scooter, Keyshawn, Carmel, and Emmanuel Vargas. My fault, David Lynch. I meant to say my boy Boots. Definitely Boots. Boots are my number one. Boots my number one. Yeah, Boots, the total package. But he got constantly, unfortunately for him, he got to keep climbing the chart. Is fighting the best, and people not gonna give him no credit until he does so. I don't see why, but you know, I like Boots.
Well, that's why we watch the sport. We want to see the best fight the best. You know what I mean? That's how you get your classic matchups. We talk about old fights sometimes, you know, like your Ali Frazier's and your Ali Foreman's and Leonard Hearns as well, because they were the best. They were the best at the time in their division, and they were legitimate. You know, it wasn't a whole lot of media hype. It was just what they were living off their work in the ring and who they were fighting and things of that nature. So they built their legacy more so than something being given to them.
Yeah, I wasn't real big on Scooter's last performance. Um, and they had those type of fights, whatever. But I was waiting for the hype last fight, and I didn't see it. I was hoping for it. I don't know, man. I try not to be hard on these guys, especially they young and they still growing. When you hit the stage to perform, you got to perform at the right opportunity. Um, Boxing Dad say that's why they can. That's why they can't talk now because they fought all hard fights.
Okay. What it is too, like I always say, some of them just don't know when to get out. It's not so much. So their hard fights got harder because they hung around too long.
Yeah. Like I say, man, getting up, going to work is a grueling process on your body, mentally and physically. Um, and the tough survive. I'm 57 and I've been in the league working since 15-year-olds and 6 months on a docu sheet. So I've been in the league for over the workforce league. I can't take on heavy fights. I can't take on heavy fights no more. I'm basically just picking lesser competition, workforce wise, cruising through, praying that I be able to walk away sooner than what I want to walk away. But we know life gonna keep lifing, and it don't unfold how you want it to unfold. It's just not realistic. But you keep on fighting. And I think that's the philosophy of a lot of fighters. They know that they done been in the league and then took the damage, the training, the putting their bodies, the being away from home, you know, feeling lonely in life because that's the field that they chose. There's so much goes into than what I think people give the fighters credit for. David Lynch, I watched Earn Pride versus Alexis Aguayo. My spelling off. Boxer Dad say if the best fight, the best every fight, then they are all hard fights. Yeah. But yeah, man. That's what I think about that Ryan Garcia Conor Benn fight. Two clowns, because Ryan Garcia was on Adrian Broner and stream, and he was at 162, 163, 162. But they gonna fight at 47, and I'm hearing that Conor Benn struggles making 47.
Yeah, Conor Benn usually fights at junior middle or middle anyway.
Yeah, so I would have rather seen that fight at 54 than 47. That's one.
Yeah.
That's just one. But hey, if the dollar makes sense, hey, more power to them guys. You know, man. They feeding their families, and prayerfully they being smart with their money to make it last. That's my main thing. I know we can't, but we boxing analysts, but at the end of the day, for me, I only can speak for me. I just be wanting people to benefit from the fruits of their labor, so they don't gotta struggle all their life while they breathing. That's really my go-to, you know.
Well, just to name a few, two guys. I'm gonna name a couple. Two guys that had to keep fighting when they were out there where they should have been retired. One was Holyfield, and the other one was Shane Mosley. You know, Shane Mosley's situation. His wife was his manager, and when they split up, she took all the money with her.
See,
so he had to fight an extra 20 years.
See, Mr. Will,
and he can't get out a good sentence now either. Really, I mean, you can understand them, but you can hear
my point exactly.
You know,
life.
Yeah, Holyfield, same thing. He hung around too long because he had about 30 kids.
Yeah,
ex-wives and bad investments. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hate to see that, man. I hate to see them guys that I think were great fighters hang around too long. Ali, the same deal. Ali hung around way too long, man. And then you got to remember, he had a dent in his career when they banned him from fighting, when they took his license, when he wouldn't go in the Vietnam War and all that. He stood up against that, and those years hurt him. When he came back, he was never the same. He was still the man. He was still good, but he wasn't the same.
Life, you know, life, LIFE. It unfolds. It takes turns. It's highs, it's lows, man. It's the unforeseen.
Yes.
You know, it's the abyss. Life is the abyss of unimaginative things that you don't know how they gonna come or when they gonna come, but you out there. You out there amongst the air, the society. Today, guess what the abyss sent us? Nobody seen Canada's fires.
Yeah.
The abyss. You think I was waking up this morning? What's that smell?
Yeah.
Getting in my car at 4 something in the morning.
Yeah.
What the hell is that? Is the fire going on? I look at the news. It's Canada.
Yeah.
The abyss. It ain't a joke, guys. And on that note, we're going to do closing arguments.
Keep your head greasy, it'll comb easy.
All right, y'all. I'd like to shout out to all assets for putting up the show. Coach Kenny, Coach Calvin, aka the Bible, Miss Lori, First Lady of the Rise Podcast. Y'all already know Mr. Will, aka Papa Smurf, keep it greasy to comb easy. And my closing arguments. Boxing is not what it used to be.
By no means.
Boxing is a swing of a lot of doors, a lot of networks, different. The streaming game has taken over. The app game has taken over. It has no roots and no foundation. But we still watch the faithful followers of the sport because we love it.
Yeah.
And on that note, it's your boy, Coach Squeeze, aka the Smoothie King, right back at y'all with another one. I appreciate everybody came in tonight. And just do us a favor, because Mr. Will came in out of his busy schedule, and I came into Life Gonna Keep Life, and we come on here to give y'all the best entertainment we can and stating our portion of what we see and believe from our perspective and keeping it classy. Right back at y'all with another one. Peace.
Peace.